Welcome back to Ryse. So now let's continue.
Organized
So
defensive
another
formations.
Well, I wish the sun would rise, because it's pretty dark out here.
Dreams in a few hours the sun will rise.
You know, now that I think about it, this whole scenario does look like a prototype for that medieval remake.
No.
A
Not
prototype,
sure, Joe.
Tio. Prototype. That doesn't mean it looks nearly as good, just that it looks like it
Oh,
could
no, in a
be.
sense, it completely different art style anyway, Jova, so...
That's why I said prototype.
Into position. I'm on the Scorpio. Get in there. Infantry.
Anyway, so Pedro, what are we
So,
doing
Pedro-
here?
So,
Right now, in context, I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do because for some see, the thing is, silly me, I thought I could just, drop from there, but I forgot that this game is scripted and I can only drop with the specific places that the game asks, tells me. No. There you go. So it turns out I'm supposed to go here and kill these archers.
Marius is amazing with throwing those staffs at incredibly far distances. Jesus. Like, maybe give
Marius is
him...
a-
Oh, sorry, go on.
Marius is the ultimate Roman badass, Jova.
I mean,
I could believe that if...
why not
there
just
was,
give
like,
him a bow and
this is one
arrow?
case- This is one case when the video game part of the game is actually more believable to me, like with suspension of disbelief and all.
I mean, here's an idea. Why not give him a bow and arrow that makes more sense for those long distance
To be fair, Jovan, historically wise, it made more sense for Romans to actually throw pillars instead of, simply having bows and arrows.
Oh, so this is when the game decides to be historically accurate. Okay, then.
Well, it's the same with the formation and everything, Jovan.
Fair enough.
Again, it's what like I said, it is still kind of weird the fact that the game is a bit schizophrenic in what he wants to do. At some point he wants to be accurate, and other times it doesn't want to, because I would be fine either way, but this middle ground doesn't seem to be the ideal option.
It's like me and Pedro have been saying, this game is very selective with what it wants.
Oh great, swamps.
Yeah, and okay, you could argue a lot of games are selective with what they want to respect historically or whatnot for the sake of it being a game or whatnot, but this one is incredibly egregious with it because because all of it happens to its detriment more so than to its benefit.
Same thing, do rinse.
Even
At least in these cases there are less archers, I guess.
I see what Pedro
Good
means
call.
though, like, well, even the army combat, which was one of the more unique things, is kind of getting repeated not too long, like...
Not to
let's sort
mention,
of
when
do
it comes
more
to
with
the turtle formation, there were actual variants of these throwing pillars. One was just one of the lesser utilized. The most classic is the one that you see also in the Asterix media, the one with the speed, with the actual spears that punctures that, because it was just that effective. Instead, everyone here holds a sword because that makes sense.
Somehow. Shields. Yeah, this is around that. It was around this point in the playthrough where I kind of started zoning out, even when I was playing, because it's just like the game. Like it's not. There's nothing inherently wrong here. It's just that the gameplay is just as shallow as the story, and it's really hard to care.
I've
Yeah, I
noticed
can
a sort of
understand
theme with
that.
this game, like, well, we're technically past the halfway point of our playthrough at this time, and the game has that tendency of dragging way too much, and yet when stuff starts to seem like, oh, they're going to do something interesting with it, that's it. It pretty much has reached the apex of its development, and it's as good as it's going to get for this one development thing here or there. Oh, hey, an
Oh,
investigation
say
segment, so...
Anyway, no, another thing that I noticed, the transition when you actually exit the formation, when you reprise with Marius on his own, also feel very anticlimactic in that kind of way. He just drops out for a second and then moves on his own.
Oh, hey, we're just in time.
For
No,
tortures.
It's Shia LaBeouf. No.
Oh, they set their bands on fire.
Yeah,
Ew.
we should probably stop that.
cue the Shawshank Redemption theme. Dun, 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 dun. Marius, that's nice, but your priority probably should be freeing the others.
Theo,
Yeah.
do you have another history lesson for us? I've kind of run out of things to say about the game, to be honest.
Really?
Well, again, like I said, in general, the
No,
premise
but
is
it's just this. It's literally just this for 8 hours.
Not that
there's
I blame
nothing
you,
to
but-
this
And
game.
honestly, Joe, in that kind of sense, it's best to be called Angry Joe when he talked about the Thor video game. I don't know what's worse, 4 hours of garbage, or in this case, 8 hours of garbage.
No, I'll take less. That's a very easy answer. I'll take
Less time.
I
yeah.
guess it depends on the, intensity of said garbage.
Well, Java, even
Well,
if someone
well,
just,
Theo
simply put,
only
if you,
specified garbage. He didn't specify which of the garbage smells worse. Which of the garbage smells worse?
well,
Theo?
let me say probably in this case, like I said, because again, compared to the example I mentioned, the Thor video game, this is technically a better looking and performing and probably more fun to play game, but unfortunately that doesn't say much.
Oh yeah, this is actually one thing that I can. This is actually one point that I can describe. Basically, like it said, there's a Romans up, and you have to keep rescue the Romans from being burned alive. Meaning, every time that eagle icon shows up, kill the guy with the torch, because if he burns your soldiers, you will die and have to restart from the last checkpoint. So
So
Game,
it's a
wouldn't it
glorified escort mission.
Not only that,
So
but
basically-
wouldn't it make more sense to get them out of the fire where they are?
So basically, every 30 seconds, that eagle icon will warn that there's another torch guy coming, and you have to prioritize and kill him before. So basically, it's the same shit, except this time, make sure you prioritize this specific guy.
Huh.
Basically, the guys we saw burning in the cutscenes, IPS already dead. We need to protect the remaining ones.
Yeah, they were trapped in that cage.
Oh no!
Also, Dribs, why are you burning the Romans alive?
It worked.
Oh yeah, weren't the French who were doing this to the Gypsies back in the I forgot the specific time period it was.
Well, to be
Well, it
honest,
wasn't
the
just
witch
the
trials
French
were
doing
like
it.
this in all Europe, not just French.
Yeah.
True, but that's the particular country that I'm more familiar with because of the.
But to be fair, to be fair,
Hugo's novel. So
to be fair, during the reign of, I think it was called Catherine the Catholic, one of the successor of Henry VIII, she wanted to install it again, Catholicism as the religion of the UK, and as a result, she burned a lot of priests that consider themselves Protestants. So there was that, I guess.
So basically, while the rest of Europe were burning gypsies, the Britons were burning Romans.
Pretty much, I guess.
According to
Apparently,
this game.
according to this game, yeah.
And again, like it was saying before, the entire.
Oh yeah, you can also give your troops the order to get those cages open. Don't ask me where they've been up until this point, because I don't
I guess
fucking know.
they been slaying the other soldiers, I guess, but whatever. No, like I said, the entire premise is built around the Britons becoming this unstoppable force out of nowhere. Again, most likely because making the actual barbarian Germans, would have been kind of detrimental for Crytek.
Yeah. It's a shame, but... Well, okay,
Well, and
honestly...
this is kind of weird. I know a couple of studios that kind of take, like, for contrast, I forgot, Pedro, help me out with this one. The studio who developed Luigi's Mansion, Dark Moon, and 3.
Next Level Games.
Thank you. Next Level Games is a Canadian studio. So what did they did when they made the Punch-Out reboot for the Wii? Include Bear Hugger, the Canadian character, and run with every single stereotype that you can imagine. Fat, bearded, smelly, grizzly, a friend with bear, drinking maple syrup and scratching his back and all. Wait, this really is the Wicker Man.
Well, that's the thing too. That game came out in 2009. It probably wouldn't really fly today.
Probably would
Honestly,
still
Pedro,
fly.
compared to the classic Punch-Out, I can agree with you. The 2009, partially.
You have too much faith in,
Hold on,
in
hold on.
social media. I'm sure.
There is actual stuff that could cause problem in Bronze Tiger. mostly because of lack of research in actual Indian language. But aside from that, everything seems to be checking.
When it comes to social media, it doesn't always affect the games. It just depends on the dexterity of the company. Like, for example, yeah, now if it were released by Sony...
That's
Now,
the name of Lost.
oh god. Now, basically, yeah, if it were released by Sony, who are all about appeasing, yeah, but if it were released by Nintendo, Nintendo has surprisingly been the more risque compared to Sony.
True. I still don't particularly. Well, here's the thing, Joe. That's the thing, Joe. Like, the Switch doesn't have any particular controversial games of any sort. Not that I'm aware of, at least.
Punch-Out wouldn't really be considered that controversial, even with the
And
stereotypes.
there is the fact that the games have quote unquote improved in the the country stereotypes representation. So
Yeah.
ideally, a new game will technically be even more safe and around this day and age.
Probably,
I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that looked like it hurt.
Part of the appeal, at least to me, of the original game and the 2009 game, was the fact was its cartoony, was its Looney Tunes style of cartooniness.
I think they'd still be able to maintain that.
I'm not confident in that.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a boxing strategy behind it.
Pretty much.
I know, Teo, but if you remove if you remove all of the stuff that I just mentioned, it just becomes another boxing game. That's my problem.
Well, I mean, you don't need stereotypes in order to be Looney Tunes-esque. Heck, if anything, just do what Ace Attorney does and make kooky characters, like
Also, how many
stereotypes
times
be
do we have to
damned.
whack this guy before he actually drops that? I know that he has a health bar, but it looks like he keeps constantly dying.
Oh no, the Wicker Man is falling! Nicolas Cage, are you okay in there?
The multiple copies of it. Let me guess, he just stops on top of him.
Jovi, he's playing himself in an upcoming movie.
Is it confirmed? I thought it was just negotiating.
Well, I'm not sure exactly. Let me see.
Oh yeah.
Nicolas Cage starring as Nicolas Cage.
So let me get this. Straight. According to this game, while the rest of Europe was burning gypsies, your country was burning Romans.
Well, in our case, the Romans were the enemy, so
I guess.
To this extent, though, dang.
I just find it weird that you even had quote-unquote horned men from ancient times, whatever the hell that means.
Also,
I mean,
this
I'm not
guy's
saying-
name
I'm not
is
saying I
Blot.
condone-
Yeah, I noticed that already.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I condone burning people alive.
But where's the but in this?
Then the Romans invade us first.
Well, according to this game, yes. So I guess so.
Honestly, considering the prestige that this game does, I don't even know. It treats as if the Britons actually invaded Rome first somehow. And again, they had to land in either the Normandy territories or at least the France, got the
Here's how you
goal.
defeat this
Hold
boss,
on.
by the way.
I'm sorry, go on.
Every time he flashes red, use the B button to dodge, and then he'll be open for an attack.
Wow,
Rinse,
it's
repeat.
like I'm playing Kingdom Hearts, but not fun.
You're starting to see a pattern here.
Yes.
That's how this game is. Do
Okay,
rinse,
let me
repeat.
guess,
Do
let me
rinse,
guess.
repeat. Do
Whoa,
rinse,
whoa,
repeat.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Let me guess,
How
he
was the
dies
flash
with
in
the
there?
Wicker Man falling on top of him.
I don't know.
Oh no,
Oh.
beheaded.
Or, oh yeah, it's beheaded.
But considering he has a helmet on, we don't actually even see the gore.
Brutality. You suck.
Marius cannot deal with the gravity of what he has done.
Grab the ram!
At least
but
I
you're gonna
assume
have
that's what
gore.
that was for.
If you have gore, commit to it and own it and just show it like God of War would.
There was a conveniently placed siege ram there.
The gore in this game
Is
The
is
gore-
very
sorry.
contributed. Yeah, I get it.
Inconsistent too.
The
Yeah,
gore in
that
this,
too.
the gore in this game feels so PG-13.
Also, yeah, like Tio mentioned,
that's-
where the hell did they get that battering ram from? Did the
Again,
British
it feels weird in how inconsistent it is, well, because it seems it's a bit too much for me to be quote unquote defined safe. but at the same time, it is not as advanced. At best you get the decapitation and the arm mutilation,
You
but
know,
that's really it.
You know, Vitalian, I'm starting to think that you're a shit commander. You might want to.
I mean,
Retire.
he manages to survive. I guess that counts for something.
I'm starting to think Marius should be commander.
Maybe Marius will be commander. Da da da.
Oh, that's right. Didn't we come here to rescue Commodus? There he is.
Is there one of the noble family that actually has a decent voice actor?
Well, Teo, that's the thing. My guess is the actors were supposed to act conceited and arrogant. Problem is, I guess they didn't catch the right actors for the parts.
Get me out of here, you stupid fool!
You're welcome, by the way.
Were the children of Nero known as being arrogant and conceited too?
That's a problem, Pedro. Commodus is not supposed to be Nero's child.
Come on, you fucking idiot!
Give me your cape.
Give me your cape!
We marched to York. Commodus was safe, and Oswald ready to accept peace. I pray to the gods.
You know,
Again,
a good actor
I'll
could.
talk about running gag. Mario, I'm starting to get hungry. Can we, make a
Get some
pause maybe?
garum.
No, hold on. I
Eat
swear this
something.
part is very important, actually.
How many souls?
But we've been here for like 5 hours at this point.
And we're still alive, thanks to
By the
it.
way, even standing up, not even sitting down comfortably.
Okay, on a more serious note, think about this from the context of Nero. Like he's hearing Marius speak for hours, and he just stands there listening, and like it's again, like I said, you want to tell it in flashback, fine, but find a better way. Quantum Break did this better. Quantum Break, where the flashback aspect worked fine because it was an interview. Like he was being interrogated. Sorry about what happened, so it made sense there. Yeah.
He will submit to the rule of Rome, and henceforth he will only fight to secure peace between our two great peoples.
Turns out the Romans are gonna make a peace treaty with the King Oswald.
Yeah, sure.
Totally.
Sure, totally, right? I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding, guys. When this was me when I was first watching this cutscene as I was recording it. Yeah. So when is he gonna kill him? When is he gonna kill him? When is he gonna to Commodus? I mean, when is he gonna kill them? You can so see this coming a million miles away.
Ha!
It's
I love how he
ridiculous.
says, so that we all may live.
Yeah,
in
I
peace."
totally believe that
Like,
this asshole is.
Okay, seriously, Story, you are so bold-faced with it. Just get it over with if you're going to constantly hammer it into our heads. The
I
way-
also love how Commodus says, oh, it's a treaty by the Emperor and shit. But so yeah, the Emperor's peace. There you go. So hold on. So basically, from the perspective of the people here, you're betraying your father, even though we're gonna learn later that no, because Nero doesn't give a shit.
Also, the Romans saying God-forsaken place. I'm sorry, weren't you guys against Christianity?
Sorry, Joel. Apparently, we're in this alternate timeline where the Latins are speaking like British people.
Not
so-
only that, you say God-forsaken. Dudes, you were the ones who crucified Jesus Christ historically because he was trying to relay the teachings of God.
Christianity was a thing only with Emperor Constantine way later down the line.
This is incredibly jarring. Like, okay, whether or not you know about religion, the death of
Seriously,
Jesus.
Oswald is buying into this.
Oh God, you do know that the death of Jesus Christ was an actual historical thing.
Also, is that the Sabbath tattooed on his
No,
chest?
there's no actual, complete, like undeniable historical evidence that has found, at least not yet.
Embrace me.
No. I mean the whole death of Jesus Christ thing. Like,
Anyway, hold on.
You
Hold
mean
on.
the resurrection thing?
No.
No, the
Just the
death.
fact that someone described it
Oh.
he was actually crucified.
yeah, I'm talking strictly about his death. The Romans were the ones who killed him because he was teaching Christianity, and yet.
And if we're
I was right!
Oh
I
my
was being
God!
fucking wizards.
They just pulled a Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian.
not just that, like or even Kingsglaive 515.
You know what? You know what? Too.
What?
This empire deserved to fall. It's a stupid empire.
Pedro, sorry, but the Brits are so gullible to be tricked, might as well.
Oh my god.
Wait, are you Julia Roberts?
Oh god, he's gonna whisper into his ear, isn't he? Oh no, he just gave him the shush.
I dare you to rip his. I dare you to rip his ear out. Rip his ear out.
No. Take a selfie and do like
And
a
he
peace
doesn't
sign
kill
from-
Boudica because, of course.
Oh, let me guess. He wants to have her as his wife.
Boudica will be come out as his personal sex object.
Oh, that makes sense. Wait,
Barbarians didn't kill my father.
wait, what?
What?
Turns out.
The Emperor did.
Wait, how?
What?
Save Rome from
Okay. Allow me. Basically, I was also confused when he said that. Turns out, we're going to learn more. Okay, here's my guess, Tail. From his perspective, my guess is we're gonna learn later who really got his family killed. However, and yes, it was Nero.
Who are you, Steel? I don't get to.
So yeah. Now that this guy is also magical. Anyway, moving on. That won't return until the climax. So moving on.
You know the weird thing, Pedro, was like, well, here I actually thought he was speaking in a metaphor there, but no, you're telling me that it's actually he's speaking literally there, that someone else killed his family?
Yes. Okay, well, okay, allow me. Okay, I was just as confused as you guys are. And now they're going to try to protect Commodus and at the same time try to take care of the Britons who are attacking because of the revolt and all.
Well, gee, who would have thought that the Britons would be pissed as all heck that you killed their king in front of you?
I'm confused right now.
Don't worry, Dwayne.
You should be.
So let me get this straight. The also smart guy is shocked that the Britons are reacting this way after he stabbed their king in front of them.
The only game where it's okay to be confused because it's part of it is Earthworm Jim 1 and 2. Not so much others. I can think of another one.
So this is essentially the story of two soldiers who have to
well-
put up with the idiocy of the Roman Empire.
Well, actually, no. To be fair, no. I take that back. There are plenty of times where you'll be confused because of something that will not be explained until later. So technically, this applies to everything. Never
Fair
mind.
enough.
I retract my statement.
I think the major issue with that thing is like, well, how does Marius know all of a sudden? Like, well, we've
I
been
was about to
following
get into that.
him.
The shot was focusing on the dagger, so maybe it's because of that.
No, it's not because of that, too. Allow me. Again,
No.
keep in mind, Tail, this is my best possible guess from someone who has actually completed this game. So when I got to this point, just like you guys, I was like, wait, like, okay, and here was what I guessed back when I was recording this particular part. Okay, my guess is he's thinking, oh my God, Nero and his son's arrogance, which is causing, they're the true causes of all this. If they were, if they were respectful and actually, fought of the people and actually made peace with the Britons to avoid more unnecessary violence and war, then probably my parents would still be alive to this. So my guess is, my guess at the time when I recorded this was that the game is trying to convey to me. I'm guessing that's my best guess.
But it sounds like it's something stupid.
Turns out, Tail, it was indeed Nero, but not for the reasons that we're led to believe right now.
Well, don't spoil us how it comes to that.
Weird,
I can only
but
imagine.
Whatever.
Philistine! Towers and soldiers!
By the way, what I recommend doing in this particular sequence is pick the bottom option, which is the archers will make sure that the towers will not move, and that way they only approach by foot with those ladders. And what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to get into this crossbow and kill as many as you can.
Oh my God, this really is like one of the Lord of the Rings video games.
Here's what you do: keep using your crossbow, and make sure you have the left button or L1 if you're familiar more with the PlayStation controller. so you can always do the voice commands every time they pop up. So yeah, notice that button prompt there. Make sure you're always holding that button for this entire sequence so that it will automatically do it the moment it begins. Because again, that's gonna be that's necessary so that the archers can kill even more of them. Basically, you're supposed to keep killing people and surviving until the game decides it's done and it moves on, basically.
Also, so convenient with the Britons and all those siege towers to be ready in case things didn't work out.
I have no idea how you're supposed to beat this section with the other option, because in the other option, the towers just come towards you and you just get fucking annihilated by major numbers. Like, it's just I think my primary issue is that a lot of times you don't really know how. It's not as bad as Gears 1, but sometimes this game really makes me think like it's one of those cases where you have to play the game the specific way that the developers intended. You're not allowed to experiment with the mechanics. You're not allowed to try to figure out stuff on your own. No, you're supposed to know the exact specific way that the developers intended for you to face this section.
Oh, look at that, the fat guy's back.
There's something wrong with this. There has been a lack of him.
It's not as bad as Gears 1, because from what I've played so far of Gears of War 1, the problem with that game, while we're on the topic of Xbox games, might as well. The problem with my problem with Gears of War 1 is that it's one of those games where it's fine. The problem is I have to know in advance how the developers want me to beat each section and each boss. I have to use the exact specific strategy that they planned. I can't actually experiment. And my problem with I don't know if it improves in the sequels, but I don't really like the way Gears of War controls, the walking control specifically. Like, okay, Dribs, okay, let me use an example. Like the way Uncharted controls is, it has your typical cover shooting controls. However, when you're not shooting, when you're not shooting in Uncharted pretty much controls like a platformer. It's a very straightforward, typical control style that is very natural to use. Gears of War 1, on the other hand, it's very stiff. For example, when you're trying to run, you hold the A button and you can't. And trying to control the direction you run is so stiff. It's just. I don't particularly like the way Gears of War controls. The first one, at least.
Isn't it linear anyway, though?
Hang on. Sorry.
I'll get back to you later too. For now.
Sure. Well, we still have to see the game anyway.
Don't worry. That was just that wasn't that much. Like, it was just fighting.
I read the. Sorry,
guys. Teo. What has your country become?
Maybe we are the true savages.
I read the subtitles wrong. I thought it says you'll be executed.
These people to the boats.
The boats.
Not evacuated.
Step lively now!
Is there another way?
Okay. At this point, yeah, it's distractingly British, but hey, what can you do?
Hey, might as well milk the joke considering how much this game repeats stuff.
I guess. Oh yeah. So it's like in Fairfence or F. This game is repetitive and it's causing us to be repetitive.
I mean, honestly, one thing that I'll give Midway, the film I saw recently, is that the characters, it averts that silly trope where two foreign people speak to each other in English. They speak in their own language in Midway, the Japanese do. So. Well, congratulations, Roland and Rick. You're one iota better than this thing.
If you got, even if you had just Italian actors who can only speak Italian, just give us subtitles like Mandalorian does. Or like almost a lot of films.
I want to be fine just with accents.
Fair enough.
Just to not alienate the American audience.
So yeah, Commodore's fucked up everything.
I'll say.
Are we really doing like a parody of the Gladiator that he drives up and has to kill Commodus and everything?
Well, Teo, he's now found out who the true people to blame for the murder of his family are. So, and Teo, think of it this way: suddenly the beginning of this game is starting to be put in question, don't you think?
Oh, I think I get it. But I guess we'll see you back on
He's gonna kill the Emperor in a bit soon.
Not just that. let's just say, Dwibs, the way the climax goes, it really makes me think, Marius, you could have made it easier if you didn't stop to tell your entire life story to the fucking Emperor for no good damn reason. I know I keep harping on this, but trust me, the stupidity of this specific plot point is going to be even more incredibly apparent in the climax, I assure you.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Trust me, it really is a genuine issue and not just a nitpick by the end of this. Anyway, see you for the next part, everybody.
See ya.
Ta.